Hello class. Today we're going to start our introduction to a modern math classroom. So at the beginning of each video, I will always put the learning target. So today's learning target is I can describe what a modern classroom is and how my math class will operate this year. So some of the challenges that I face when I am trying to teach a class of 25 to 30 students is when I teach the whole class at once. Some of the students may already know what I'm trying to teach, and it's too easy for them. Some of the learners may be behind and they get lost, and then they stop paying attention because they're lost. And then some of the students may be absent any given day, and they're always going to want to know what they missed when they come back. So in this case, one size does not fit all. So here's the lesson structure that we are going to use in our modern classroom. My goal as a teacher is that I'm meeting everybody's needs. So we are going to do blended instruction, which means that you as students will be accessing new content through teacher created videos. All of the videos will be created by me. I may not show my face in all the videos because sometimes it's just easier not to, but they are all created by me, Miss Cobb. We will use a self-paced structure. So that means you are going to learn at your own pace, so you can go as fast or as slow as you need. However, all students will take the module assessment and the unit assessments at the same time, and you will have that date ahead of time so you know when it's going to come. And then we will be doing mastery-based grading, which means that in order to move on to the next lesson, you need to demonstrate mastery. Mastery for us is going to be receiving a 2.5 or above on your mastery check. Each class, you will complete the daily check-in at the beginning of class. This will be a Google form, and it's basically to let me know how you are doing and what you plan on working on for that day. We will have a progress tracker, which will be displayed on the whiteboard in the front of the classroom. And the purpose of the progress tracker is so that number one, I can visually see which lesson everyone is working on, but also for all the students, you can see who's working on the same lesson as you. That way, you're able to pair up with a friend and work together when you get to the practice. And then at the end of every class, you will have a reflection to complete that's also in Google Classroom. And it's basically going to let me know what you completed during the day and then plans for the next day. So each lesson has three different parts. So we will almost always start off with an instructional video. So like this one, we have an instructional video with guided notes. Most of the time the guided notes are going to be in the form of your textbook, but there may be times where we use something else instead of the textbook. And then you will move on to the practice assignments after you are done with guided notes. I will note a majority of the time you will have quizzes that are in the videos, and in order to move on to the practice assignment, you need to get at least a 75% on the quizzes. If not, then you need to watch the video again and redo the quizzes. So once you get to the practice assignments, I highly recommend that you work with a classmate or two, just so you guys can bounce ideas off of each other and make sure everything is going well. Once you are done with the practice assignment, you are going to show me, and then you can check your answers. I will always have an answer key for all of the assignments. And once you are comfortable that you know what you're doing, then you can move on to the mastery check. Now, for the mastery check, you will not be able to use your notes, so you do need to be confident that you can do it without notes. Um, and then for the mastery check, you need to get a 2.5 or higher in order to move on to the next lesson. And then just a little bit about Google Classroom. So we will post most things for the class in Google Classroom. The stream, which is the first page that comes up once you log into Google Classroom. So that stream is going to be reserved for announcements. You will not be able to post anything on the stream. Only I can. However, if you have comments, you can always make comments on anything that I post. All videos and practice assignments will be listed under the classwork tab. And then assignments should always be done in chronological order. I will put them in chronological order in Google Classroom, and you'll also get a module guide which will have them in chronological order. But if you have any questions, always ask. And then I just referenced your module guide. Every module you will start with the module guide. And the module guide is going to tell you what you are expected to do for each of the lessons. It will also tell you where you can find each of the parts. So some of them will be in Google Classroom, some may be a handout. So always look on the module guide to see how you're going to find the assignment. And then we touched a little bit on mastery checks. So again, in order to move on from a mastery check, you need to get a 2.5 or higher. So if you don't get a 2.5, then you will be expected to complete additional practice. That could be in the form of the should do assignment, or if you need to assign something, usually it will probably be on the computer, but I can assign additional problems if you need more practice. And then once you feel comfortable, then you can retake the mastery check. But again, in order to move on to the next assignment, you must get a 2.5 or higher. And then we touched on grades already, but practices do not count as part of your grade. However, it's the foundation of everything that we're going to do in math class. The more you practice, the better you will assess on your games. Scrimmages are going to be 10% of your grade. So scrimmages are going to include mastery checks that we do at the end of every lesson. It will also include any reviews we do before games. They are also very important because they will assess if you are ready to either move on to the next lesson or take the game. And then games are 90% of your grade. They make up a majority of your grade. The goal is that each of you will be proficient in each skill assessed on the game. Games usually assess more than one skill, usually a couple, maybe 2 to 3 skills. And then if you don't like the score that you get on a game, you can always reassess. And if you get let's say you get a 4 for one of the skills, but you get like a 2 for the other skill, you can just redo that skill and get a higher grade. That is the end of video 0.1. Let me know if you have any questions.